In Australia, we run recorking clinics every 2 years. So in South Australia, where the wineries are, it only happens every 2 years. Now, sometimes we make an exception for a very rare or leaking bottle, but very, very, very rarely. We advise people to book into a recorking clinic. When we run a recorking clinic, it goes on the public record. Everything is certified, everything is witnessed. Stella, for example, today has been with us. In London, we will have someone in October from Christie's. In Germany and Switzerland, when we do the recorking clinics there, maybe we'll be with Acker, maybe we'll be with Sotheby's. But you need to do it properly. Otherwise, who knows when it's happening. What we love about recorking clinics is it can rescue people's wines that are leaking. It can rescue people's wines that have crumbly corks and aren't in great condition. If we get there in time, we can certify the bottles. If we get there a little bit too late, at least the wine might still be drinkable. We can't certify it. But because it's a free service, it's free, people have nothing to lose. They get to taste their wine, they get to assess it themselves along with the winemaker. The winemaker ensures whether it can be certified, but the taster, the owner, can determine when they want to drink it. So it's win-win, there is no negative side. They're called clinics because you book in an appointment, like if you are going to the dentist or the doctor. You're bringing in a sick bottle of wine to be cured. So what we're going to do now is just look at this bottle and we'll go through the process. We will simulate what happens in real life, but with this bottle. So this is a bottle of 1986 389. It's not that old, but it's old enough, it qualifies. It has to be 15 years or older, so this qualifies. We do have a colour grid. If you bought in, for example, a bottle and the level was down here, we can't certify. In other words, any wine that's below or at that red level that you can see on the colour chart, if we were to top it, we're topping it with too much wine. We're changing the wine. So we'll only top if the level has fallen from the chamber down to about here. So that's the maximum. If this wine tastes, we'll open it in a moment, as it should for that vintage, it can be certified. It'll get a new recorking clinic cork, a new capsule, and be certified. If though we open it and we taste it, and it's not as it should be, it gets a white dot. Still might be drinkable, but it's not at the level that it should be or better. So we're very strict. Imagine if you bought in a 1952 Grange and we certified it, you sold it at auction. Someone spent $30,000 buying it, wasn't that good. Yet we've signed off and certified. So we can't take that risk. We set a very, very high standard for acceptance and certification. And the only way to do that is we're past the point of no return. The capsule's off, so we have to act. Now you can see here, this cork here has absorbed some of the wine. It's probably dropped a centimetre or two. It's not too bad, but it certainly does warrant a recorking. Now what we're going to do, some people make a mistake and use these to get the cork out. This is called a waiter's friend. We all know these, don't we? We use them. These are very good for young wines, less than 10 years of age. But how do you get the cork out with this? You lever. And when you lever, you quite often snap the cork. The cork fragments, older wines. Not good for old wine, no. For older wines with old corks, we use this. A waiter's thief. It minimises crumbling. It doesn't prevent it totally, but it minimises crumbling. That's one technique we use. Better technique we use is using two of these together. to form like a double helix into the cork. We'll show you this technique in a moment. Through the cork. So just a sec, yeah, right through. And now we're putting in the second. Now this pushes the cork out. So it minimises and gives you better traction. Now, the moment that comes out, Reno will start here. The moment that cork comes out of the bottle, can you feel the gas? That's a mixture of carbon dioxide and nitrogen. If you feel, yeah. So the second that comes out, in goes that, and we'll put in a temporary cork. If you're at the dentist, you get a temporary filling. Now look at that. Now, if we hadn't have used that technique, guess what probably would have happened? Guess what would have happened? Probably this. Look at that. Look. Now, the point I want to make in China, in Shanghai, many people store their wines at a good temperature, 13 to 15 degrees Celsius. Done. Tick. But what lots of people forget is about the humidity in the cellar. You need ideally 70 to 80% plus. Otherwise your corks will dry out. So even though that cork looked good, it's not a very good cork. And if you'd used one of these, it would have crumbled into the bottle. Look at that, there's not one little cork fragment. Perfect. Now this is the important part, the assessment. We will pour, and Reno will get some gas ready, about 15 mil. Only a little bit. Wonderful. This is for the assessment. More gas goes in to create an inert gas cover to protect the wine during the assessment. Now, I would be tempted to smell that straight away. I don't. I keep it away. Swirl it, let it open up. Because you can create an incorrect first impression. So 389 tops 389. Grange has been topping Grange. 707 tops 707. We use the current vintage to top. And that little bit that you add freshens the bottle. But because it's 15 mil or less, you don't change the integrity of this. We have tested the wines after the clinic, a year later, 10 years later. We have run statistical triangular testing, sensory testings. No one can pick the difference. That's because it's 15 mil or less. Now this is a very important point. We will only ever recork once. Because if that bottle comes back in 20 years' time, we have to pour out another 15 mil. More goes in, now you are affecting the integrity. So you only ever recork once. People come in with dozens. But let's take that one bottle and we'll go and visit Ben and we'll show you how we do the recorking. The assessment now is finished, the certification has happened, now we go over and we do the important recorking. Let's come over here. If you put too much wine in the bottle, you don't have expansion room and the wine will leak. So see how he's taken out all of that wine? That is the original fill height. We put a little bit more gas into the bottle, again to protect it. And while that's happening, we'll show you, this is one that will go into that bottle, but if it were Grange, you can see here, sorry Ben, you have to go a bit forward so they can see over there, the Penfolds Grange cork. Now on these is the date, Recorking Clinic 2013. Beautiful corks, the finest corks we can buy. To see this, it's all happened in a microsecond. So if you want to have a look, Ben's about to do this. It's happening now. Look at that. Look at that now. You can see Penfolds, you can see Recorking Clinic, done beautifully. And we'll now put the just the machine to do it professionally.
那这个非常轻巧的小机器呢，是我们用来封盖我们把锡帽打上去的一个机器。
A series of Teflon plates, and look at that, as good as the day it came off the box. Now, presentation is everything in China, so Ben is putting on some lovely tissue paper. Now, the tissue paper isn't just cosmetic. If there is any leakage, it
shows the leakage quite profoundly.
It's really exciting to see.
But depending upon how well that wine has been cellared, or depending upon where you bought that bottle of wine, you might not know. If in doubt, drink. So my advice is, our encouragement is, with all of these wines, wine is made to ultimately open, to share with friends, and to drink. So if there's an objective of recorking clinics, it's please don't hold on to these wines for too long. At some point, drink them. Please. So wine is very serious, but it's not too serious. You know, it is a beverage. It is meant to be opened, it is meant to be poured, it is meant to be shared. And don't leave it for too long. But if you do, come to our recorking clinic and we can help you sustain and keep that wine a little bit longer.